Well, hey friends, I just finished an 8-hour day, maybe 7 hours, I don't know, but I came home, really didn't have anything cooked. We had a little bit of that leftover Parmesan chicken, but I decided we needed something else. So I'm in the kitchen. I know I probably demoed this recipe so many times. I mean, like, I don't know, a dozen times, but you may be new on here. So I wanted to demo how to do burgers in the pan, just really quick. So I've got this pan heating up. This is my favorite pan. It's called Our Place. That's the name of this pan. Let me show you the, yeah. So here we go, Our Place. This is a smaller one, but I love this one because I can get about 5 burgers in there, which is about how many I'm gonna make. So I've got 2 pounds of burger. This is grass-fed, grass-finished meat. I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons of this dry ranch mix. It's got different things in it. I sent this recipe out via email, so if you want it, you're gonna have to put recipe in the and you're gonna have to get on my email list because that's how I send out these recipes, okay? But to get, the exact ingredients. But then I'm gonna put a little garlic powder, just about, I don't know, two teaspoons maybe, or a teaspoon, I don't know. About that much. Is that a teaspoon? I think so. That's garlic powder. And then we love crushed red pepper, not too much, about 5 shakes. And then of course you always gotta have salt. So I'm putting in about a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm gonna put some coconut aminos. Yeah, probably about 2 tablespoons maybe, or something like that, of coconut aminos. And then always, you gotta have some good pepper. Yep, so already about 20 people on here. So here we go. That's good, I love it. I'm gonna share something with you in a few minutes that I think you'll enjoy. All right, so I did pour a little bit of avocado oil on there. So here we go. Salt, pepper, chili peppers, coconut aminos, garlic powder, onion powder, and I think that's it. So I'm just gonna mix this up a little bit. I'm not gonna mix it. Oh, I did put a cup of cheese. So I put a half a cup of Italian blend cheese, and I put a half a cup of cheddar cheese. And I'm just gonna mix this up together. You could put whatever else you wanna put in here. You could put an egg, you could put, just kind of depending on what you like, but ranch sauce it's actually a dry ranch mix, what I make my ranch dressing from, and it had buttermilk, dried buttermilk. So that's gonna add, some flavor, but it's also gonna add some stick togetherness, okay? So I'm gonna make, so this is 2 pounds, so let's see, I usually do 1/3 of a pound, so I'm gonna make 6 burgers, I think. We'll see. That's how it usually turns out. All right, so there we go. You see, I didn't pat. I didn't really spend a lot of time making the burger. I didn't press it all out real flat and tight. I wanted it to be loose because, let me put a little bit more in that one. I just kind of know how much James likes to eat at one sitting, and I kind of like to eat about the same. It's about 1/3 pound, so I should be able to get 6 burgers out of here. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get them all in this pan. I can put 5 in this pan. So what I'm going to do is take out that other pan, but I've just got them on, I need to turn them on low. I'm going to get 5 out of here. So just a little bit more than I need, but it's okay. All right, so there we go. 4, 5, and I got 1 left over. I may just stick it in the middle. It doesn't have to be a hamburger shape, because when you eat a leftover hamburger, you just kind of grab it out of the fridge and do with it whatever you can. So you just see just how quick. So I've been on here, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, and so I'm gonna put that right in there like that. So there we go. We got this 1 more burger. So I think I'm just gonna stick it in the middle. I like my burgers not real done, so I can roll this up and make a ball out of it. And just put it right there in the middle, okay? I know people hop on here. I get messages all the time, and they're like, "I love to watch you cook," and I'm like, it's probably because I'm so haphazard. But you know, when you cook for 40, we've been married 44 years, and I started cooking when I was a little girl because there were five of us kids. I was the only girl. My granny lived with us. And, you know, my mom would call and say, okay, put this on, cook the rice, do this. And so I was in the kitchen a lot. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover these. Well, I can only put one. So I'm going to cover it. And you think, well, why are you covering it? I am going to turn it up just a little bit. I'm going to cover it because I want the heat to stay in because I want it to cook. Now, normally it would be better if that hamburger meat had been room temperature. And the reason is, if it would be better, let me get over here where you can see me, I'm gonna wash my hands, is because I think I'm gonna show you my smoothie that I made just a few minutes ago. Well, I'm gonna show you what I put in it and tell you a little bit more about that. Okay, so if it's room temperature, then you don't have to cook it as much, all right? Because it's the whole thing that cooking does is it raises the temperature on things. That's what makes it cook. And so if you don't have it, if your meats are room temperature and your vegetables, then you don't have to cook it as much. So I like for things to get room temperature before I cook them. So let me bring you over here to my smoothie and just show you what I did. All right, I'm not actually going to make the smoothie up. What is this right here? This is where I poured that ranch dressing out, and I rolled it with a rolling pin. This is my grandma's rolling pin because it had some clumps in it. Let me show you this in case you don't know about this. All right, here we go. So this is buttermilk blend, and when I opened it, it was brand new from the store. But when I opened it, it was dry and hard, just like it is right there. And that kind of makes me mad, but I looked at the expiration date, and it was going to be December 15th, 2027. So I'm like, it's fresh. It just, I don't know, maybe they didn't add all that clumping factor to it. So that's pretty good. So hey, Charlotte, I see you on here. Hey, Marcia. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Paula. A bunch of y'all. There's about 50 of y'all on here. So thanks for joining me. Okay. So you see that this burger, here we go back over here. These burgers are just cooking away right there. And I've got them on kind of a little above low because I don't want them to cook too fast, but I definitely want them to brown underneath. Okay, so here's what I did. It kind of got a mess over here. Here's what I did today when I got home from work because I hadn't eaten much lunch. I went out to eat with my friends, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, so don't leave. I got to tell you about this right here, okay? But so I came home. So this is the protein powder. I did use a tablespoon of peanut butter. This is organic peanut butter. I don't eat a lot of peanut butter because peanuts typically have a lot of mold in them. But if you can get organic, that's going to be better. And I get this at Walmart, but it's organic crunchy. I like the crunchy kind, okay? And then I added a tablespoon of coffee. This is instant decaf coffee. And that's the coffee I drink because I have essential tremors, you know, where your hands shake. So if I were to hold this, eventually my hand would start shaking like that. So I don't do any caffeine because when you go to their website about essential tremors, the first thing it says is no caffeine. And I get it, okay? I inherited it from my mom. I have 4 brothers. They all have it. And so I want to do everything I can to, you know, eliminate the shakes, all right? Sometimes when I'm talking, you'll see my hands are just going like that, but that doesn't mean I'm not strong. I'm strong, okay? All right, so here we go. Protein powder, about 1 scoop of that, all right? I didn't put 2 scoops. And then I put about a heaped up tablespoon of peanut butter. I put 2 tablespoons of allulose, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. And then I used some coconut milk, some ice, and let's see, what else did I put in there? Oh, I put some chocolate. This is just Hershey's chocolate. It's just cacao is what it is. If you look at the ingredients, let's see. Ingredients: cocoa processed with alkaline. Okay, so that just probably keeps it from clumping. I could have left that out and just had a peanut butter shake, but I kind of was in the mood for chocolate. So I drank that. It was really sweet. It was just like having a milkshake. And then, hold on, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. And then I checked my blood sugar. So if you want to know really what food does to your blood sugar, which a lot of people are wanting to know this now, you can check it with this little thing right here. So this is a this is a Keto Mojo, okay? And it checks my ketones. So let me just show you. Not my ketones. It does check my ketones, but it also checks my glucose. So here's what it was, 90, an hour after drinking that shake. And I think if I'd have taken it, 30 minutes after, it would have been the same. And do you know why? I'm fixing to drop a big secret on you here now that, not a secret, it's not a secret, but a piece of information on you here now that you don't know, probably. Because I didn't know it a few months ago, and I heavily researched whatever spikes your insulin, okay, or spikes your blood sugar, which brings your insulin on tap. Allulose. When I put allulose in my coffee, when I put allulose in my smoothie, it literally brings my blood sugar down. So the only way for you to know, for you, is to check it. But I love it because now I can enjoy my smoothie and not worry about the spikes. Although, too, I want to tell you this: if you eat protein along with your carbs, it keeps your blood sugar from going up. So you just need to know that too. All right. So now I've told you that. I told you about the allulose. Let me think. There was one more thing. Oh, and just for your information, and really for Charlotte, she's my newest member to my club, is I want to tell you about this MCT oil powder. It makes your coffee so creamy, and it's a medium chain triglyceride, so it doesn't spike your insulin, and it's made from coconut milk or from coconut. About 40%, I think, of the coconut is going to make the MCT oil, the medium chain triglyceride. The rest of it, they make coconut milk from. So let me get back over here to my burgers, and then I've got the story about my earrings, okay? So here we go. All right. I think they're probably ready to flip. So let me show you what happens when I flip them. All my stuff is in the dishwasher. So my husband comes in, he goes, "Are you cooking?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cooking." So here we go. But you see that cheese is melting up. It's so good. So I'm going to flip these. I've done this so many times, I feel like I'm being redundant. But if you're new to the channel, here you go. So I'm going to flip them from the outside. So the heat is in the middle mostly, unless you got gas. Gas, the flames are going to come up around the side of the pan, so you are going to have heat as much on the outside. But if you're cooking on electric like I am, and I could have gotten gas, but I just didn't want it. Now look at that. That's a beautiful burger. And then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to flip all of these over, and you see I'm going from the inside, and you see that burger has just done great right there in the middle. All right, let me get here. Flip it there. And then as soon as I get these flipped, I'm going to cover them back up and let them finish cooking. And then I will uncover them, turn it up a little bit, and let them brown. But you see that browned. That browned up really nicely. And then I'm going to flip this one in the middle. And it's going to cook faster than any of them. So I'm going to push them all back up in the middle. Now you see all this juice is cooked out. That's either from the coconut aminos or just the juice from the beef, just the gravy. All right. So here we go. I'm going to put the thing back on there. I wish I had one that was a little bigger. I'm going to have to look for one that's a little bigger, but it works fine. All right, I'm going to turn it up just a tad. I'm going to cover it because I don't want all that heat to escape. I want that heat to go into those burgers. All right, so let me tell you about the earrings. All right, so I'm going to turn around here maybe if the light isn't too bright. Okay, here we go. Look at all this hair going everywhere. Okay, so these little earrings. They're little pearl earrings, and there's a name she had for it. And I can't, they're not round, they're kind of squishy. Does anybody on here know the name? If you know the name, please put it in the comments so I can remember it. But anyway, I met two nurses, and I knew these nurses when I graduated from physical therapy school and started working at the hospital. That was in 1978, July of 1978. So 48 years ago. And one of them worked at the health department, but the other one was working in ICU at the hospital. And we became fast friends. She was a young Filipino nurse. She was from the Philippines. The other nurse was from Ireland, and she worked at the health department. Hey, Dorothea, hey, from Kansas City. Thank you for joining me. Yeah. Oblate spheroid. Okay, good, Karen. Thank you. I don't know that I'll remember that, but spheroid. So I guess they're not, is that how you say it? Oblate or oblate? Anyway. Anyway, one of them is coming for therapy on her knee, and I'm not divulging any privacy, I guess. But one of them, let's just say that. And so the other day I said, how is Celeste? They're roommates. And she said, oh, she's great. I said, let's have lunch. And so we met for lunch today, and oh, it wasn't long enough. We could have been there for hours talking about all the doctors and all the nurses and the doctors and nurses that got hooked up and the ones that got split up. And we watched medicine change. So you can think in 1978, if you had a hip, there really weren't hip replacements then. If you had a hip fracture, Austin Moore prosthesis was the best thing we had going. And you stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks. Now you're out that day, pretty much. I mean, they're going to kick you to the curb, pretty quick. But anyway, I did therapy on so many people, and we became such good friends. And they wanted to know what all I'd been doing. And, since I left the hospital, and I had founded a nonprofit that helped people that didn't have insurance. And now there are over 1,000 families that are helped by that nonprofit. And then I ended up back doing something else. And now I'm back doing therapy again, which I have not really done that in about 15 years. But I love it. And that's what Celeste says. She said, you're back to your first love. I said, I am. I'm so love it. But anyway, so Celeste, being the gift giver that she is, she said, she handed me the gift, and then she grabbed the ticket to pay for lunch. And I'm like, no. She goes, yes. And Veronica said, don't even argue. This is part of it. She said, I had my birthday, I think she said, I don't know, a month ago. Maybe in July. I'm not sure. I'm going to find that out, though. And she said, a custom in the Philippines is when you have a birthday, you give a gift to someone else. So this is my gift to you. And I got so emotional. And they gave me a beautiful devotional book too. So it was from, and then they bought my lunch. But these little earrings are so beautiful. And they're that shape. And here's something else she showed me. She actually took the earring. I don't know if she took her earrings off. I think she took her earrings off. And she rubbed them together. And if you rub them together, they make a powder. And you can wipe that powder, and you can see it. You can actually wipe it off the little pearl and put it on your hand. And that's how you know that they're authentic. And I just thought that was so neat. You see that hummingbird back there? The hummingbird feeder. I have got to get out there and feed them. It's been raining so much, I've let it get empty. All right. So in a minute, I'm about to take these up. You're going to see. Now, I wish I had recorded how long we've been on here. Does anybody know how long? I think, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 12, maybe 15. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to All right, so you learned a couple of things tonight. You learned about smoothies with allulose, okay? Stevia, erythritol is not healthy anyway. Stevia, monk fruit, I don't think has the same effect to lower your blood sugar. Don't you just love my little thingies here? Yeah. That's pretty hot. All right, I'm going to cut one of these open just to show you that they really are done, and to show myself. I can usually tell when they're done Let me get it over here where you can see. Because they shrink up, you know. But if I left them like this for a little while, they would actually, you see how they're nice and brown on the other side? So they look like they've been kind of grilled or whatever on a skillet. You know, I have a griddle over there that I don't use because I love this pan so much. It's so much easier, especially just for me and James. But I'm just going to flip these and, all right, let me cut this one. I'm going to cut this one right here in half just to show you that it is done. You see, that is done. And not only is it done, it's delicious. Delicious. And my husband's gonna love it. Now, he's a cheese. So I'm gonna add, and shame on me for using this grated up cheese. I usually grate my own or slice my own, but I am gonna add some cheese on the top of his. I don't care for cheese on mine unless it's mozzarella. I do use mozzarella. The thing about using the grated cheese and not grating your own is it's gonna have some additives in it. Let's see what this has. It's gonna have cheddar cheese, cheese culture, anti-caking blend potato starch. And I don't really want potato starch, but you see that little bit, so that's what we're gonna have tonight. But normally I've got 2 blocks in there that I need to slice up or grate up, you know. I put them in the freezer. Maybe I'll do a demo of that tomorrow night. I put them in the freezer so, you know, they really, I've got a attachment on my, what is that thing called? Not a Hamilton Beach. That's what my mama had years ago. A stand mixer. Somebody help me out here. Anyway, it's not a Cuisinart. That's what I can do it in the Cuisinart. But anyway, that's what I do it in. Okay, so I'm going to cover that up again so that the cheese will melt. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it off, though. I'm going to set it off because I don't want them to cook anymore. I don't want them to cook too much. Here's what we'll do with that. We'll make a burger bowl. Okay, I will make a burger bowl. James just likes his with cheese, and he'll put ketchup on it. But I make a bowl. I cut it up in pieces. I cut up some little good tomatoes, maybe some red onions, some lettuce, some pickles. Oh, and I think I told y'all last night about the dill pickle relish. Okay, I got to show you this. Maybe I didn't. If I did, then just listen again. But this is my new find in the grocery store. I did not know. Now, you may say, well, did you just fall off the turnip truck? But, okay, dill relish. It has no sugar in it. It's just pickles and I think some pimento. Has a little bit of other stuff, sodium benzoate. But, and I could make this. I could chop up dill pickles and make it. But anyway, I use this to make my tuna salad instead of the kind with the sugar in it, okay? So there you go. I'm gonna put some of that on my pickles, on my hamburger, and I'm gonna stir up some ketchup and mayonnaise together, and it's gonna be delicious. I'm not gonna miss the bun. And if I was missing the bun, then I would have made a chaffle. So if you have seen my chaffle recipe, put chaffle in the comments. Just say chaffle. If you hadn't, say no chaffle, because then I'll do it again. Because we love chaffles, especially when my granddaughter's here, because she loves to make them. But I'll demo that again too, because that's a really, really popular one. Okay, so I get a little teaser here. This is my cookbook, and they're out of print. Okay, they're out of print, and I just need to get off my lazy fanny and get them printed again. The problem is they cost me about $10. If any of y'all out there know where I can get these, it's like 50 pages, but it's front and back. You can get these printed. Because, you know, I give them to my new clients if I have them, but then I also would like to sell them, and I would sell them for probably $10, you know, but not if I have to print them and ship them, because that's going to be like $14. So anyway, or $13. But I think I've said enough for tonight. I got to get this food. My husband's probably ready. So you didn't see the chaffle. So, okay, you didn't see it. All right, so I will do the chaffles in a couple of weeks. But if I have your email, you should have gotten it in an email. But if not, if you'll just say down here, no chaffles please, or something like that, I'll send you. But I got to have your email. You gotta message me, direct message me your email. I'll add you to my email list, and then that way I can directly send you that recipe. And the only reason I can do that is because I just sent it out a few days ago. If it had been weeks ago or whatever, I can't go back and retrieve all that. I mean, I can, but I don't really want to do that, okay? But if you get my recipe book, so what I'm about to do, I'm waiting on my guy that's in the background to do what they call automations. I'm gonna start sending this recipe book in an ebook form to you. So don't say recipe right now because we don't have it ready, and then I'll miss you. But keep watching. Give me your email if you want to get on my email list. I do have a link that I can give you to get you on my email list. But I think I was kind of rambling. Anyway. It's been a busy day. I was up at 7:30 getting my blood work done. Yeah, so I had to be fasting, no coffee, but that's fine with me. All right, so I think I'm done for the night, but just that little cooking, that little thing was like 12 minutes. We live 13 minutes from town, so for us to drive all the way to town, get something to eat, and come back home, and here's the thing, there's nothing in town I would want. Nothing in town's going to be as nutritious as that. Seriously. And when you add a salad and all that to it, it's great. And guess what? I've got leftovers. See that? Now let me tell you something that's really good. So here's what my husband will do. He'll come in here and he'll grab one of these big bowls and he'll dip out. Let me turn you around a little bit. He'll dip out one of these burgers. Just like that. Well, I'm gonna give him a little bigger one. You see my hand is shaking? Okay. And then what you don't know, I'm gonna pour this grease off. And that melted cheese, oh my gosh. You talk about something really good. You see that? Oh, that is divine. It's browned and melted. Yep, I call that the cook's choice, all right? Okay, y'all have a great night. I'm gonna jump off here and talk to some of my folks.